Holy crap, Bob.
What?
You talk about my shoe? Freaking Michael Jackson in the room walking out here, man. Those are nice, dude.
I'm trying to compete.
You know what? I would wear those too. Those are
It's
nice.
just aluminum foil.
Dude. They look like something in an old 80s video.
Hey, 80s coming back.
You know what? He just needs a white glove. I think that's where he's going. That's what it is. He's pursuing his music career next.
You don't know, man.
I'll buy your CD, bro. Well, I guess your download.
Yes. All right, so we're good to go now?
Yes.
Everything's on.
All right. I'll accept a motion to,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
accept a motion to come out of executive
So
session.
moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, and we come out of executive session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Lost his audio.
It's not the same tone.
All righty. Appointment of the acting director, the committee got together this past Monday and interviewed two personnel from the agency. And basically, the committee has come forward with a recommendation of Mike Son to be acting director.
I move that we accept the committee's recommendation of Mike Stein as the interim JCESA director,
Effective
Of-
the 3rd,
effective as soon as.
February
Oh,
3rd.
yeah.
February
Is that
3rd.
your last day, Bob?
Odds is a second.
Groundhog Day, February
Effective
2nd,
February 3rd, bro.
but I mean,
Second.
you start it whenever you want, I'll be glad to fade in the background.
All right. There, oh, you got a second? Is there any discussion?
Yeah, this is Dr. Trees. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I had my emergency command meeting yesterday, and everybody's really interested on that end of knowing, are we still proceeding with March being the rollover date with all of these changes going on?
Oh, we can't discuss any of that.
a word.
We're not allowed to discuss that out of executive,
Yeah.
or we just can't discuss it at all.
Yeah.
It's a special meeting.
Okay, well, I guess I'll follow up with somebody because they're like, you know, they just don't know what's going on. I do give them an update. Yeah.
Understand what she said.
Yeah, we'll get somebody to contact you.
Okay.
If you want to contact someone to try to get further information. We just can't discuss that on a special board meeting because it wasn't in the agenda.
Okay, should I reach out to Mike Mood? I mean, Mike Stein?
Yeah, you can reach out to him, and then between the two of you guys can figure
Okay.
out, you know.
All right, thank you.
All right, been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Did everyone else leave?
They had a call.
Oh, okay. The next agenda item is the director's position to include advertising of the same. So we're gonna definitely need to get this done. We need to move forward. We need to get somebody in the position permanently. You know, soon. We don't want to rush it, but we need to get it done soon. So we can also look at the job description tonight. We can go through it, and then any tweaks or changes, we can make sure that that is taken care of. And then it would be, actually, mean, if we do make tweaks and changes, we'll have to resend it out to the JCESA staff. Anyone?
I know the main one we wanted to change was the bachelor's degree and just change it to bachelor's degree preferred or in lieu of degree, X amount of years experience or something.
I don't think we want to say in lieu, because if we say in lieu, that means you're still wanting a degree.
Either a degree or 10 years experience is what I would say. That's typically what you'll see, like in a standard job description, you'll see something that will say typically requires
Or
bachelor's degree or
equivalent
equivalent experience, yeah.
Yeah, but-
Equal to, and we gotta be black and white about it, like equal to this amount of years or something. And if that's the case, we can just put bachelor's degree preferred then, if y'all wanna just do it that way. Doesn't matter to me.
I don't think we need to mention degree.
Well, we don't wanna deter them.
I disagree, Steve. I believe that this position is not a run-of-the-mill standard position. The majority of this job is administrative, and you can get that through experience, but having a degree in administration or of some type, I think that is important to have for this position. Or equivalent experience, but bachelor's in fire administration or business or equivalent experience in the field, I think that needs to remain in there.
Can I say something on this? Because
Yes, sir.
y'all beat this degree thing to death the last meeting. And here it is, as someone who's done the job, it's not that a degree doesn't matter. It's not that you have to have a degree. A degree shows that you have committed to something and finished it at least. It shows that theoretically you should be able to do some research and write for any, that have been through it. So that's great. But on the other hand, there's certainly live work experience that could demonstrate those things as well.
Absolutely.
So when you all talked about at one point here a few minutes ago, like an either or kind of situation, I mean, I don't know that the degree is absolutely a requirement, but it could be one way. And I think in most federal positions, they list it pretty plainly. You have to have either the education or the equivalent experience,
Yes.
and you can substitute one for the other. In some cases, they say, no, you can't substitute education. And in this position, I wouldn't want to see you say, well, if you have a master's degree in emergency medical services, you can come in here and do this with no experience. That's
Oh, yeah.
Bad idea.
No, I can't have.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that while I agree with you that a degree is not essential, it does have some value. So just weigh it against the person's experience and performance in the past.
Would it be fair to say experience over degree, but never degree over experience?
Well, you never degree over experience.
Fair.
You have to have some experience doing something. You can't come fresh out of college and do this.
What would be your recommendation, Bob, having done the job? If we were to say in lieu of a degree, how many years experience in the field do you think one should have?
Depends on the person.
Okay,
I don't think in lieu of, I think if you're gonna add experience, you say bachelor's degree in these fields or equivalent experience, and we have to define what that equivalent, or the committee would have to make a judgment call on equivalent experience when you're looking through.
I think basically what this says, bachelor's degree in business or fire administration, emergency medical services, or related field, but we could say related field experience.
Well, related fields, talking about the type.
the degree, we'd have to start a new
Degree.
The
sentence.
major of the degree, you could do a comma after that and say, or enough experience.
Yeah, or equivalent experience, yeah.
Could we
I
just
think-
put like 10+ years experience can be, because
No,
we
because
have to
one
define
person's
it.
10
We
years
can't-
of experience is gonna vary from another person.
Well, that's fine. We just, we can't be subjective on a job description. You have to be able to define it. You have to say, it's gotta be quantifiable always. So you can't say just relevant experience, because then,
So what if you said something like a minimum of 5 years experience? I'm just picking a number.
yes, exactly.
Minimum 5 years experience. And then the next line say, either 10 years experience or
Exactly.
a degree in one of these fields or something like that.
Well, up here in the qualifications, we're saying work experience in career field, work experience, career firefighter, or EMT, paramedic, firefighter, work experience supervising, and then work experience in career fire and or EMS department. So I think we're already covering the qualifications for experience. We just don't have how many years we're.
I've got a whole thing about that too, but it's
Yeah.
not quantifiable either. this job description will get you guys sued if the right person wants to. I'm just telling you that right now. You have to be able to measure a job description against something that here's the thing. Say we get a candidate who is a minority, and then they don't get selected. They can then come back on this job description and say that job description was subjective, and then they can sue. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just, that's the reason the laws exist. But yeah, sorry. I know it's annoying, but
Well, and now, I mean, I think it needs to be clear, fair, equitable, and all those things.
Well, so I'm gonna ask the question just for the sake of the public. So you've got pro board, West Virginia RIF, SAC certification as a fire officer. What's required to get that?
Taking a class.
I would say that your experience should be broken down into what classifications you want. It must have X amount of career field. Or in the field career service, must have supervised X amount of employees more, must have dealt with this, must have dealt with that. So that way you're fixing his issue, but you're still getting what you're looking.
What about certifications? Sorry.
That's what I'm asking. So you said this is certification,
That first line is just taking a class.
taking
so
a
those should
class.
go under
So there's
education.
no requirement to take that class. Like I could go in and take that class.
Well,
There's some
I think the
prerequisites.
prerequisite is having firefighter 1 and 2, okay? And
So I
then
guess
you can
that's
take
what
that,
I'm-
and then you can take that class. So
Okay.
you have, Joe Blow off the street can't technically take
Well,
it.
and I guess that's what I'm drilling down to. In order to have some of these things, you've got to have some, or to qualify for these things, right? So for you have to have some.
Yeah,
They're very, that first line, it's very minimal.
That's gotta go under education, actually, if it's a certification.
My question on this is, when we're talking, we are talking about an ambulance service. We're not talking about putting out fires with the EMS.
Well,
So you're a fire prevention unit. So by the state of West Virginia Fire Code, they have to also have the fire officer training, which is a requirement to remain one.
yeah, it says
They're
fire and
dual
EMS at the beginning of this thing.
They're dual,
Yeah,
they're
all
dual
dual,
trained,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Or,
so the director has to meet the requirements set forth by EMS and by fire marshal,
By what?
by the fire marshal's office.
Okay,
And so do our officers. So from our captains down to our lieutenants, they have to meet a certain criteria of training,
all right,
or they cannot hold a spot legally.
hold.
And that's even the same on our volunteer side. We
Yeah.
can't have lieutenants that don't.
We
have
actually
fire
have
officer
to, every year I have to send in my certifications to the state fire marshal's office to become a certified fire chief in the state of West Virginia.
Okay, and I understand that.
Yeah.
That's not my question. My question on it is that since this is an ambulance service, not a fire, that they're not actively a firefighter.
We are.
We are.
Yes, they are.
When we became an emergency services agency, it became a combined board and we became a fire protection unit. We started fire services. The
Well, I,
primary role is EMS, but we are firefighters. And that's part of moving forward is fire and EMS.
And they are driving fire apparatus as employees, they are fighting fires as employees.
They're in
We're just-
command as employees.
Yeah.
over that.
Our name
I
just doesn't
understand that.
reflect
I
fire
understand
department.
that's how we have it set up now. My question in this going forward is that what's going to happen when you've got your officers out here on the ambulance and they're on a fire apparatus and you now have no ambulance?
We do.
Nothing different
We do.
than what occurs right now.
Yeah, our operation day to day is not gonna really change from what we've been operating. And that's how we've been doing both at the same time for now.
We've been doing that for a long time.
Okay.
It happens. You're right, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm-
Again,
Keep in mind, the
that's,
training-
that's,
the training
that's
required has
what
to be
I'm
West
trying
Virginia.
to.
Yeah,
Yes,
That's what I'm trying to, if we're gonna require certain certification, then I guess I'd like to try to solve the problems. If we're trying to say that we're gonna be having ambulance service for folks. I don't want to, at any point going forward, can say, well, we can't send an ambulance because they're on a fire truck. That's my point.
There's not a patient yet that we've left laid on the floor.
What's that?
We haven't left a patient laying on the floor of their home yet, like they have been covered. We have mutual aid agreements, we have other ways to do it.
Okay, so Jacob, what are you recommending in work experience for these positions? Which way should be?
I'm trying to figure out how to write it down now. I don't think we should list each individual one out, because then you're gonna get people who are hyper specific and you're gonna destroy it. But you have to have a number somewhere. So I'm thinking minimum 10 years total combined fire and EMS experience, but it's gotta be both. I'm trying to write how to say it. But minimum 10 years experience is what I would say. That's quantifiable. The rest of this, you can just say has experience in. But you, with that number, great. Somebody doesn't qualify, well, buddy, you didn't have 10 years, sorry.
And some of it's kind of redundant, because, work experience in a career fire and or EMS department, well, work experience as a career firefighter, it's the same thing. Then you have the supervisory portion of the same thing, and then you have the work experience as a career field EMT or paramedic. You can almost kind of put some of those together where you're not spelling them out each individual. Because if you're already gonna be a supervisor within a career department, you're already gonna have the work experience with a career fire and or EMS department. And same thing with a career field EMT or paramedic.
And EMS would cover the EMT and paramedic. Yeah,
So my recommendation here would be where this pro board is, that should go under education, underneath where the degrees are. The top line should read minimum 10 years total experience in both fire and EMS. And that's just if you don't have it, I'm sorry, we can't consider you. That should be is that a fair? And then down here in education, we could say bachelor's degree, blah, 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 preferred, or in lieu of degree of 5 years experience.
I don't think
or
we
4
use
years
in lieu
experience.
of, I just think.
Whatever
we
you want to say.
Yeah, if the board's going to agree to add or equivalent experience, we just, that's what.
Just
it is.
equivalent
It's a
experience.
degree or,
And I don't
5
think you
years
should
equivalent.
put 10 years up here and 5 years.
no, I
Well,
just
that
think you
would
say
be
or equivalent
15-year
experience,
person.
and that's a judgment.
So that'd be a 15-year person without a degree or a 10-year person with a degree. Is that
think-
too
I-
stringent?
I think 10 years is easily enough.
Okay, so then, then what do you want to do? You want to just put degree in preferred? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. That if you do it, then just don't put the experience, just put
Twiggy.
preferred.
Yes, sir.
I don't like the word preferred. Because that's saying that somehow that degree is a little bit higher than that work experience.
What if you said 10 years of experience or a bachelor's degree may be substituted for
Like 2
4
or 3
years, 3
yeah,
years,
something
whatever you
like
want to pick of that experience?
Do you think? Maybe 2 years experience?
Whatever you want to pick, or a master, I don't know.
I know I'm making this more difficult than it has to make sense. Sorry.
You HR people.
Why, yeah, why didn't you make your red lines before you came?
Because I had to do freaking training on this actually on Monday.
Okay,
You guys had asked about combination. on the
Yeah,
fire
I have it
degree.
here that,
Okay,
and I mean, from my point of view, I think that you should have some type of experience working with a combination department, that's volunteer and career. Majority of the departments that you do come from, especially these career, are a combination, when you, Montgomery County, Fairfax, Loudoun County, Frederick County, Virginia, Frederick County, Maryland, every single one of them are a combination department. They have volunteers and careers, and you really need somebody in that position that has some type of experience with those departments. Like Alan and Denise both had previously, they are able to build off of, and, somebody can come in with some fresh ideas. Hopefully, maybe they can steal from there and bring here.
So how would you write that experience working in combination, volunteer, full-time?
I
Combination.
just had experience working within a combination / volunteer department.
That should be, right, yeah.
I mean, I put preferred. I don't know what you all want to do, but I think it needs to, a line item, so to speak, needs to be there.
Under qualifications or something.
okay, so your change, let's go back to your changes. Your changes are what, to remove what on qualifications?
Well, I think on qualification, I think with that certification up there, it just needs to go under education.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
that.
That'd be
what-
my only
that
change for
come down.
that thing.
Okay, and then we were gonna take work experiences, career field EMT or paramedic and career firefighter, because we're saying work experience in career fire and or EMS, correct?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
redundant.
yeah, we could take these out. I mean, you could just put, minimum X amount of years working in fire, combined fire and EMS.
All right, and then education. So we're still on bachelor's degree plus so many years experience, or we are saying, or 10 years equivalent experience? What, we gotta,
The way I've seen it written out before is you'll put the word typically in there, and it says typically requires a bachelor's degree plus, let's just say 8 years of experience, or high school diploma and 10 years experience is the way you could put it. And that's just black and white right there.
Not sure that I agree with,
Well, you have the certifications also that are required.
I know, but a bachelor plus 8 or 10, I don't.
However you guys want
No,
to
I'm
do it.
thinking bachelor
I pulled
plus
those numbers
4
right out of my head,
yeah.
yeah.
4 or 5.
You sure it was your head?
Bachelor plus
Yeah.
5, and I don't know if you wanna say 10 for experience, but that's,
bachelor's degree plus 10 years combined experience.
no.
And
So we're gonna put, okay, so the way it's gonna read is
We're gonna
gonna
make a motion on this.
be, yeah, I'm writing it down as we go. This is gonna be
Okay.
Frankenstein to hell and back, I bet. So,
okay,
Okay.
right until we-
all right.
So I agree, bachelor's degree, plus so many years experience or
High school diploma and
so many years experience.
what do we want those to be? Is that the question?
That's, yeah, we need numbers. We need to decide, or we need to,
Bob, you're the expert. What's it worth to you, man?
I have a really hard time with that one because as we've said, and Brian just said too, 2 years of experience for one person, they could have done more or have done a better job or have more. The last year in this job is the equivalent of 10, just saying.
So I get where you're going there. We can never, ever go based on this guy or that guy, but that can morph into black guy, white guy. Gay
We
guy,
don't
not
want
gay
that.
guy. But that's my point.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
Just to commit to. a
I'm not
hard
saying that's
number
where it's going. I'm just saying.
is difficult. I mean, I think you also have to look at what you're paying here, and it ain't much. It's not nearly enough
Mm.
for what comes with this job. But, so, I mean, I think it would be reasonable to say, if you're looking for, what, 5 years, I don't think you want to do 10 plus another 4 or a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
I would keep the number low. I think
So what about 7.3 then? Would that be fair? 7 years experience
Yeah.
plus a bachelor's or 10 years experience and a high school diploma.
I would probably go.
Because that gives the guys that went to fire before.
I'd probably go
Set a
7 years experience or 3 years experience and the bachelor's degree.
Could a guy with 3 years experience, I mean,
The right guy could.
I'm just thinking about careerists here that maybe gonna have a hard, I was in enlisted army, yeah, I mean, that's, okay.
well, this will be job for the selection committee to go through these.
You asked me for a number, I gave you a number.
I got you.
Here's my theory on setting that number fairly
While I'm
low.
pro degree, I'm also pro putting too much weight on that degree.
If-
I
if
hated
you-
officers.
You're gonna cast a wider net.
Right, exactly. So why would you exclude the potential excellent candidate because they have,
Okay,
Are you writing all this down because you're making the motion?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would assume that the selection committee would develop a rubric to use for the process. And so while the minimum is 3, you certainly could make it such that, each year beyond that counts as whatever, 2.7 points or whatever.
I think
No.
we did that before.
Okay.
With the committee, so
Yeah, I don't.
we've got it.
What about 6.4? I got a problem with 3 though.
Why?
Because I don't think a 3-year person should be running this agency, even if they have
With
a
a
degree.
degree?
You're telling me a 3-year guy's, I'm sitting here seeing all these guys that got like 20 years experience. I'm like, They're gonna listen to a guy with 3 years' experience because he got a piece of paper? I'm telling, that's an LT where I'm from. We told LT to kick rocks.
Well, but just,
Back me up, Steve.
but.
Sorry,
you're
I know
reading
you were
too
an
far-
LT before, but.
You're reading too far into it, because if you go back up to your qualifications, there's no way that you're gonna have all that stuff within 3 years.
Okay.
Out of a career department.
Would you have it in 6 or 7 then?
But we're saying minimum of bachelor's degree in 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a minimum. And if they can't have this in 3 years, then find out what they have. You pass over them if they don't meet the minimum requirements.
You can have it in 6, but it's still gonna be slim.
I'm just thinking about how we send this out to the agency. If you guys see this in the agency, right? And you say that they're willing to hire someone with 3 years and a bachelor's degree, what are you gonna say to that? I'm through.
Again, it's for the selection committee to go through the resumes.
I know,
Let's
but-
submit and make a determination on who's going to be first round interviews and then advance to next round interviews.
When I first
I
started
mean-
here, I think the qualification was an associate's degree and, I don't know, a pulse and a couple years in EMS.
We didn't even talk about an associate's degree.
We take in people brand new with EMT cards, and we overlook, have to overlook some people that have 10 years EMT. Right, and it's all done on that. Certain this many points, each degree means this many points, this many years of experience means this many points. And you tally them up, and then whoever had the highest scores are where you're, is how you build your list. And on our side of the fence over here, that's how we do it. That way, we're really fair to those who meet minimums, and we're really fair to those who meet the highest parts of it.
All right. If that's the case, then I would like to change it to 3 years in a master's, maybe 5 years in a bachelor's.
Reasonable.
Did you want to?
We have to justify.
No, that's reasonable.
Oh, yeah, okay. so
7 years in associates, yeah.
3, yeah, 7 years in associates. Would that be fair enough? Or 10 in a high school diploma?
That works for me.
3 bachelor.
I'm gonna write the exact wording out, Debbie, don't
Yes.
worry, I got you.
Thank you.
But you're gonna, you wanna take this section by section then?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna, yes.
Need to-
Well,
Do you need a new copy to write on?
no,
If you got some scratch paper, that'd be great. Literally.
Yeah, I can- or I can give you like, you want like a full new copy?
Oh, no, I'm fine, I can. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I can write that down while y'all work the rest of it if you want. I don't really have any other changes I wanted to make.
Was that all?
What?
Is that all? You sure?
I think that's valid though, because I'm telling you, if someone got hired as my director at 3 years and they had a piece of paper, I'm gonna hate that guy.
well, you also have to go on, it is personality,
I know.
style, delivery.
That's not
Like,
quantifiable. I can't hire.
I
him.
know, but when you are going through as a selection committee, those are the judgment calls you all have to make to advance people to.
I do understand what Jacob's saying.
Yeah.
Referred back to the military
Enlisted man.
mindset. You know, you got a guy comes in as a second lieutenant and he's telling a sergeant first class who's got 20 years in the Army, well, this is how it's gonna be done. We're gonna do it this way. You know, the guy, maybe he's got a college degree in music, you know? It's that's where I come off of why this degree is just, it's a non-issue to me. It's, I care about somebody's experience. And I think if you have enough experience in a field, that experience always outweighs a piece of paper that says you got a degree. That's just me.
And I think with us including 10 years with a high school diploma, that covers that.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'm
yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
It's different paths to get the knowledge and
Yeah, let's the careerists catch up with the guys that went to college.
So we want to do separate motion. Well, I was gonna say we need to include the salary in the advertisement, because it is what it is, right?
It saves us a lot of time.
So I'm just gonna make a motion that we include the salary for this position on the job description for posting.
Second.
I'm sorry. You said you make a motion to include
include
The
salary in
salary.
the job posting.
Now, we can, if it's from our agency, right? Can we hire them at the 11 years?
Hold on.
Oh,
We-
I
we've got
apologize. Yep, yep,
emotional.
Sorry, sorry,
Sorry for
right,
this.
right.
You just need a second.
I'm bad at Robert's rules, man.
It has been seconded.
Second.
It has been seconded.
Been moved and seconded that we add the salary to the job description. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
To answer your question, Jacob, the way the pay table works is that someone coming in from the outside would start at the zero.
Yes.
If you were to promote, so when I got promoted in a position, you guys never talked about salary with me. You didn't have to, because
It was already
in
there.
that position, how many years of service does he have? That's where he goes.
Gotcha. Now, is that only for ESA or is it gonna cover like fire too? It's also, you see what I mean?
Are the same people.
It's the same
It's
No,
people.
the
no, no, what I'm, okay, never mind, never mind. I was thinking actually volunteers, but okay, it's the same. All right,
I'll take this out. I don't get anything else, but-
never mind, never mind, never mind. I'm thinking of 4 different things. at once.
Get the wallet out. Get the wallet out. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the qualifications. I'm gonna go to the qualifications section. Education. I didn't call it out, but do you have it?
Yeah, we have a pay table
You
right
have
here.
it? Okay, so the next motion I am going to make is under the qualification section to move the certification down under education. And we are going to strike work experience as a career field EMT or paramedic and work experience as a career firefighter.
This is for the qualifications. Did you want to show everyone you were gonna put it down? So it's all in one motion, or do you want to make 2 different motions? His was the experience working with volunteers.
Combination department.
Experience working within a
Okay, so we're
combination.
gonna
Volunteer. for the
move to
department.
education.
And we want to say career, we want to say, I'm sorry, say that again, career.
Experience working with a combination volunteer and career department.
Okay, so we can just put work experience in combination, career, fire and. or EMT.
Career volunteer combination.
Do you,
Makes
depends on
sense.
where you want your applicants to come from.
Yeah.
Do you want your applicants to have come from career that is a combination system, or do you want to allow
Well,
applicants from a volunteer system that was part of career?
So
Volunteer.
the other stuff already would knock out, like, for me, for example, I wouldn't qualify because I don't have the work experience in a career.
I thought that's what you were replacing.
No,
I'm sorry.
no, it's
Okay.
just an addition,
Okay,
just
gotcha.
trying to get those people that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure your intent was, and where your core applicants were coming
Where
from.
did that?
no, I think in
Work
combined.
experience in.
Oh, get rid of the career.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
I was just trying to add it onto this, but I think it's already a separate
In
bullet.
combination.
Okay, so yeah, sorry.
Career and volunteer. Career slash volunteer.
David's gonna hate me for this motion.
How about if we come up, and I know you're in the middle of a motion, but how about if we come up with the qualifications totally? Do a motion for them. And then under the education, we'll do a motion for that.
Right, yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay,
Yeah, I just was trying to combine that last sentence, but I think it's gotta be a separate bullet unless Debbie figured out a way to combine it.
on the work experience.
Yeah, so work experience in career fire and or EMS department, leave that alone, and then we'll just add a bullet that says work experience in a combination career and volunteer.
Oh, we actually,
Okay, wait a minute.
Or,
what we came up with was fixing that last bullet to work experience in combination career slash volunteer, volunteer slash career, fire and or EMS department.
okay, so that's my motion. I moved.
Second.
We moved it on the paper, good.
I'm just trying to do better.
So we're still keeping this one.
Okay, it's
Yes.
moved and seconded.
Okay, who seconded?
I did.
Jackson.
Jackson Harris, Young Harris.
You know what, my mother's a
That is for
Jackson.
the
actually.
qualification.
So,
Descended from Andrew.
any other discussion on that before we vote on it?
Fifth bullet. It's the fifth bullet.
All in favor of the updated qualifications? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
So we have our qualifications told and good to
We're
go?
good. Yep.
Cool. All right, then I will make a motion to amend the education section of this job description. To strike out the bachelor's and master's degree to read instead. Typically requires 3 years experience and a master's degree in a related field, 5 years in a bachelor's degree in a related field, 7 years, associate's degree and 7 years in a related field, or high school diploma and 10 years in a related 10 years experience. Here's the paper. Just take it.
Yeah.
We have a second on that motion.
Second.
It just went 3, 5, 7, 10 based on education. Sorry.
So it's gonna be, you're gonna have it exactly written out like this.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to play with it. I mean,
Oh, I don't want it.
As long as you remember.
Okay,
So this is exactly what's gonna be here.
well, are we in agreement? She can play with that if she needs to. I mean, other than the numbers in the degree.
I would ask that when this is all done, that you folks maybe make some kind of motion to have one person that she can send this to that says, yes, that's.
Proofread it.
What you intended. Is that possible?
Actually, if you guys want to do that as a job, so does Trish.
Yeah, that, I was looking at you while I was saying that.
hold on, we got the motion on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
we do have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion to change the education to the years versus the degrees, or the 10 years experience plus high school diploma? Signify by saying aye. All opposed?
You can write
Motion
that,
passed.
Yeah.
you can write that motion as.
If you feel free, you can email it to me.
Just trying to shorten it up.
Yeah.
Before y'all get carried away on some other rabbit hole here, if I might just suggest, under the major duties and responsibilities, the second bullet. It's very specific and saying supervises the operations commander dash captain 3 education training dash captain 2 and office manager. I mean, I don't know that you need those specific roles in there, but if you do, you need to take out the captain 3, captain 2, because we've done away with that whole classification and reworked it to captain and certification level.
Okay, so we take captain, the 3 out, the rank. Is that what
I
you
mean,
just
I would just take, yeah, I would take the dash captain 3 and dash captain 2 out altogether. And where you have education / training, technically that title is education and compliance officer.
Or could you just put supervisor JCESA command team?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, I don't know. I don't know why we had the specific jobs in there. But if you're gonna have them in, get them right.
Yes.
Because they're ultimately responsible for all of them. They, I'm talking about myself in the third person.
So. So how would you do that, Bob?
I would just take the captains out like Bob suggested and just leave and change education and training to education and compliance officer.
I'm looking right at it. So you take this out.
I'm still, if we're not specific.
I
It should be
agree.
specific. So,
I agree.
so do you have it?
I'll say it back to you. And then if somebody likes it, they can say, make a motion to do that. So under the second bullet of major duties and responsibilities, reword that to say supervises operations commander, education and compliance officer, and office manager.
So moved.
Second.
We moved and seconded that we changed the second bullet under major duties and responsibilities. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Tony, I didn't hear you.
You fall asleep.
Okay,
What did he say? He went in the potty.
We didn't get it all right.
motion passed.
Hey, on business meetings, every now and then you'll hear a flush. It just randomly happens. No one knows who it was, but you'll hear it.
You know, because it's the mic that's not muted.
Well.
Is there anything else under the director's job description that we need to look at?
Just for grammatical, note. On the sixth bullet point, represents JCESA and serves as liaison at city county. So change the A to act. I'm sorry, A to as, AS.
Oh,
Serves the leading.
Yeah, I actually read this thing, Bob.
As a, I think it's,
It's supposed to be as,
should it say as
As.
a? or
No,
just
as,
as,
just as.
as.
We need a motion on the as?
no, that's grammatical. No. We don't need a motion on that.
We already made the motion for salary.
Where will
Do
you,
what?
where will we?
Oh,
go?
yeah, it's motion for salary.
Yeah, the motion for salaries already been made.
You just put it.
Yeah, above this.
Any other changes that anyone?
Yeah.
I guess just a question. So we're gonna have Debbie collect the resumes as they come in.
Yeah,
From this-
same as we did last time.
Okay.
We're keeping the same committee?
Huh?
Keep the same committee?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's better at.
Yeah. Yeah, the committee was appointed to do the acting and
Got it. Sweet.
the only other thing that I have on the, well, first of all, let's get a motion to accept the director's job description as changed. Even though we did individual motions to change things, in the entirety.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the director's job description with the edits that were presented tonight.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. So you got the job description. Now, we need to come up with a timeframe of how long we're gonna accept applications.
I don't know if y'all addressed this already, but are you having Debbie post this vacancy announcement? Is that the plan?
That's what the plan is, yes.
Is there anywhere specific you want her to put it?
Well, last time we did Indeed, where else did we go? We did
Just
the website.
Well, indeed for external, but I mean, it goes on the, yeah, it goes on our website, right?
They put it on the website last time, right?
I can't remember. I feel like I'm sure we did.
I think we put it on the website and we put it on the Facebook page.
Okay. So I would do those two things and Indeed, so. But we need to come up with a time frame.
Yeah.
Wait, and just, did we boost it last time? No, we just did the free.
I think it'd be only about $100 if we did decide to boost it, on Indeed at least.
All right, let's do the timeline and then we'll talk about if, because we need to approve spending the money to do that. If we have it.
Makes sense.
Anybody have any suggestions? Timeline?
Debbie, when do you think you would be able to put it out and get it posted then?
Well, we need to make all these changes and have it reviewed.
March, Friday, right?
Yeah.
On Friday.
So, we can-
Monday.
So we
Let's
should
get it
do it
reviewed and have it back there by Monday.
Think,
or you can get it to me. I can work on it and get it to you hopefully tomorrow morning. So someone can
you ain't
look
gotta
at
push
it.
yourself that hard, I mean. It's 26 now, so I'd say we should have it posted by, yeah, we'll have it posted by Feb 1, so why not do 30 days from that? So that'd be what?
Or posted by Monday. I was just thinking through the 28th of February.
Yeah,
Open.
28th is just, I mean, it's just fine.
I mean, that's 4 weeks. Or, yeah,
So we're saying post by Monday and then have it through February 28th.
And we can always amend that at the regular meeting if we have to, if we're not getting people, so. Can, if we put them.
She's gonna go somewhere else with that. She's gonna say if you don't have a bunch of applicants within so many days, then you wanna boost it. and spread
Okay,
it.
gotcha.
yeah.
Aren't you?
You're reading my mind.
She boosted out. front.
No, I was thinking, no, I think we post it and see what we get hits for the free post, and then we
And then
can come back and decide if we need to boost it, if we're not getting enough interest.
Well,
Okay.
maybe the motion should include giving the, whoever the committee chair is or whatever, the blessing to direct Debbie to boost it. Okay.
Do we have to make a motion for that? Or I guess because funding, right?
Yes, yeah, because of spending money and
Yeah.
Well, I think we'd have to come back to the board knows how much we can, or we'd have to make a decision for the board to. So we'd have to make a decision on how much money we're gonna budget against that.
do we know
Before we
what it
can-
costs to boost on Indeed?
I thought it was 100, but I think it's changed over the years. It used to be completely free. And then they started charging me for it.
Yeah, you can spend as little or as much as you want to.
Depends on what you want them to do for you.
Right.
So
LinkedIn will
it's
charge you
crazy.
anywhere from 1,000 to 100,000, so. per
No,
job.
I mean, but there've been, when I go to Boost, sometimes they recommend campaigns that can be up to 500 or 600 a month, and I say, no, we need to move that slider down a little bit.
It's not gonna tell you till you call
We,
them. They won't tell you, yeah.
we could,
You gotta, so they can spin you their spiel or whatever.
I mean, we could put a limit on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
On
thinking
the-
is tonight the board decides if we're gonna permit a limit, and if we need to, then we could direct you to.
Okay.
So, I mean, we just need a number. Maximum.
500? I can't imagine it costs them more than that.
I was-
Is there a way to- is
And
there a way to-
I was thinking 250.
I was thinking not to exceed 250.
All right, well, I will, yeah, okay, 250 seems fair, I guess.
Not to exceed 250 without board approval.
Yeah, because we can always change it to regular meeting.
So the motion is we're gonna post and try to advertise it for free and post on Indeed for free. And what, after a week, maybe, see how many hits we get? Or we'll leave that up to the selection committee. Yeah.
I would say that.
And then, okay, so boost on Indeed for free. And
Post.
we will set a budget of $250 maximum to boost.
I always like the term not to exceed.
Yeah, not to exceed.
Budget 250, not, okay, not to exceed 250.
To boost on, I guess, on Indeed. And that'll be at the determination or direction of the chair of the selection committee.
To determine. Direction by chair committee.
I miss Tony.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And moving second that we posted on Indeed for free. And take a look in a week and see how many we have. To decide if we're gonna boost it not to exceed $250 in the boost. Any further discussion of that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right. I don't believe there's anything else, is there? Involving this?
Is there, maybe you've already got this figured out or it doesn't need to be discussed here, but have you, is the plan, like the selection committee is gonna do what they do and then at some point bring a recommendation back to this board? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's, exactly what we did last time, the committee will meet. And,
Well, y'all did some wonky stuff last time.
okay,
Had us in here on live stream interviews and then
That
people
was
hidden in the
fun.
corner and.
So do you want me, or do you just want for the purposes of the committee and the public, how we did the process last time? Do you want me to explain it?
yeah, you can explain.
So Debbie boosted and posted on LinkedIn, resumes came in. And of course, she collected any of the internal, which could be emailed as well. And she sent those to the committee, the selection committee, and we reviewed the resumes and then we narrowed it down to those that were qualified based on the job posting. And then the committee, we did have a scale for which questions we asked everybody the same, similar questions. And then we had a scale for which we ranked them and we conducted interviews here. And then the committee met and made a decision on who was going to advance, and the finalists advanced to the board. And the board interviewed, spoke to them, and then the board ultimately voted and made the decision forward. The directors.
It was like American Idol without signing.
But you gotta be able to think on your feet and be in front of the public.
That's a big deal,
why not?
actually.
Honestly, the weird part wasn't doing the open public interview. The weird part was like being a candidate outside the room. And when the discussion and decision is happening in the room, but being broadcast on YouTube, the general public sending text messages telling you what happened, that you're about to come in and find out what happened. That was the weird part.
Well, and it also for folks that are, in the system now that apply, it's on the board. It takes it off the committee and the committee just advances.
Well, and the last time the board probably should have went into executive session when they're discussing that. So that it wasn't out and about.
Or that if you do interviews in open session live, they should probably be delayed on delay stream so that there is no texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the whole process.
Yeah, that would have worked too. Hey, hey, look, I'm a big fan of open session. No arguments there. It's just, yeah, what you guys are saying about either a delay or something like that would work.
We'll figure that out when we get there.
But I do think at this time you should add a talent section to it.
I agree.
Because I don't have to
Anything
compete.
for some entertainment, comedy, dance, whatever.
Tap dancing, is West Virginia.
Bring you
was
back
also
with your shiny
involved.
shoes.
How many applicants the committee brings back to the board?
Say that again.
No, basically, the committee will just make the decision of the top applicants that we feel that we'll bring back to the board.
So that could be 1 to 3 or 4.
Yeah, whoever you all decide to advance to. I mean,
I guess it depends on the quality and education
I want to say
experience
these
of the
board
candidates.
members probably gonna recommend that guy.
How will the applications or the resumes be presented to the board? And my question is more along the lines of, will it have name, address, personal identifiable information on it? Or just Debbie will just lop the top of it off, call it candidate 1, candidate 2, candidate 3, and then have
To the selection
The
committee or the board?
selection committee?
to the selection committee.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yes,
you're good.
yes,
No, it's
that's
important
essential.
we see this, I mean,
The selection committee last time saw the entire application. All right, so anybody that was involved in that,
it's important we do that
That's-
too.
Well, is it important that you know the names and all the PII of the person applying, or that you just base it off of the qualifications and the education?
This is Dr. Treese. I think that if you know the person and the history that you've had with them and their personality and how they deal with situations does make a difference. I don't think that that should be blinded.
Noted, thank you.
I get where you're going with that, I just think,
I mean, you guys we're not publishing the resumes online of everybody that applied, or it's not, the committee's gonna meet and look at the resumes and.
Yeah, I think what he was getting at, my guess is
Yeah.
to eliminate any bias, but Dr. Treese makes a very valid point too, that
we can't hire based on your opinion of somebody though, it's just, we gotta have one, yeah.
right.
But if that guy's if he's a felon, yeah, we're not gonna hire him, sorry. Can't happen.
but as somebody that's been involved in hiring before on boards, we had the right to see the application.
Understood, and as someone who has been on the hiring in the commercial world, I've always asked for resumes and applicants to come across with no information on it, as I'm choosing who I'm gonna interview. I don't want the bias, I wanna know experience, education, that's it. And I make my choices based off of that, that's just my recommendation.
I think,
To the selection
I think
committee.
the choice to interview, yes, but when it comes down to who you're actually choosing, we need to know who it is. So I think I misunderstood, but yes, the choice to interview can be blinded, that's fine. But when it comes down to picking, I think we need to know who it is.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
That seems like a reasonable middle ground. Not that my opinion matters, sorry. That went in my head.
This isn't on the agenda,
Either way you do it, Ruben
Huh?
will help you.
is this on the agenda?
Yeah,
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 it's,
the rubric helps, yes.
it's just
So if you did it.
discussing now.
I think getting where you're saying, because that's from a massive pool of everyone in the world, yes, I agree. When it's a town, you don't have that big of a pool. You're gonna know most of these people, somewhere, some way, you're gonna know these people. I don't think you can really get around it, I don't think. That's my opinion, whatever the board wants to do. Was there a motion or just discussion?
It
No,
was
we've,
just discussion.
we've just been discussing it, that's all. I don't know that we need a motion, do we?
I think it's really up to the selection committee at this point when, to me, before it gets to this level, on how you all proceed after you've gone through your first, the resumes, and then maybe first round of interviews or whatever you all need to do in the process before it gets to the board.
So would that be the compromise then, when it gets to the board that the PI is off?
No, I would prefer to see the PII gone before it comes to the selection committee. That way you guys are choosing blindly based off of the qualifications. And then you make a recommendation of the top 2, top 4, top 5 that you feel is appropriate. And then we move forward with the actual,
It also eliminates the possibility that you're based
No,
on
but they're
male,
reviewing the
female,
that's,
black, white.
That is
It
correct.
eliminates all that by doing what you're saying.
I
Well,
guess,
but at the very bottom, it says JCSA is an equal opportunity emergency service provider, employer, and community partner within Jefferson County. So
and the federal government says the same thing, sir, but they still have a 5-point preferential for female, 5-point preferential for hiring of
Yeah, they do.
minorities.
okay, so I think we're getting in the weeds, and I mean,
Yeah, we can
the
discuss that
resumes
at
are gonna
the
come in, and it's fine, you can remove all of that stuff, but how are they, I mean, they've gotta contact people to come in, they're gonna do the first line of interviews.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would
Yeah.
come into a central person, not on the selection committee. Debbie, I'm just throwing a name out there. she would have Joe Smith and his resume as number one. She would know that. She would know which resume is what and what goes or what coordinates to which applicant. So the selection committee would say, we like the resumes of 1, 5, and 7.
Yeah, but
I mean, to me, it's extra work for Debbie. And secondly, what's the difference in Debbie having that stuff in the selection committee? I mean, if we don't trust the selection committee that we've appointed, we need to appoint new people.
what if candidate one got arrested last year for beating his
I was
wife?
getting ready to ask you, is there a background check prior to that?
No, there's not. That's my
The only
point.
reason I say this is on our orientation committee, we have talked about redacted information, doing an agility test, and then candidates 1 through 9 are sent to the interview table when they're done, right? I don't know that it's Adam Watson coming to the table. I just know it's candidate number 5. Problem we ran into with is candidate number 5 comes in and he scores very well. He looks awesome on paper. We want him, but later when he leaves, we find out that he was recently charged with a felony. He's recently, like, he totally met everything this person was looking for and was in a lot of trouble. So no matter which way you guys decide to do that, that should somehow be included. So you don't wind up with someone and then 3 weeks later, be like, oh my God, what did we do?
Yeah.
And a
That'd be
charge is
embarrassing.
not
Yes,
necessarily a conviction. So,
correct.
right.
Still, but that's the last thing we need.
Yeah,
really.
but
I know, but I'm just saying, you can be charged with something and go through a whole process, but there's nothing on your record that, because you haven't been convicted for it,
Yeah.
or whatever, you know, so, yeah. Do we run background checks?
Not before it gets to us, that'd be impossible.
Well, no, I wouldn't expect to, because it costs us like
Yeah.
money to run a background check. We don't want to run it on every animal.
We do that for, when we hire employees, once they've received an offer, then
Yeah.
we do the background check. And
Offer pending your background.
Yeah, it's contingent on the background and drug screen. If you.
I mean, if there's anything to add, I could say that when I hire docs and ADPs at the hospital, I know their names and their sexes, and I'm able to look at their references before I even choose to interview them. So I know we all want to be, equal equity, but I mean, if the hospital's not at that standard, then I'm not sure we need to put ourselves to that.
we do a minimum verify references that they put in their time, in their history.
I-
And that's how we find out other things.
I'm sure we, yeah.
I understand totally what you're saying, Brian, but I just think with basically a small committee, it's gonna be hard to black out people and pick by a number.
I'm not trying to hard sell it. It was just a
Idea.
recommendation.
I mean, it's a valid point of discussion. It sure is. I mean, I agree.
Well, they're either gonna meet the qualifications and be eligible for an interview or they're not, regardless of what their name is. So,
I don't expect you to get 700 applicants. I have to pare down. I imagine you're.
how many was there last time? Do you remember how many it was last
It
time?
wasn't that many. Did we even have a dozen? I don't even know if we had a dozen.
5 or 6, I
I
think.
mean, you figure we have like, just for example, we have like, what, something
I think we only had
employees and I
five
haven't even gotten one.
that met the qualifications last time,
I think so.
and there was a bunch of other ones that came in that got separated out for not meeting the qualifications. We did glance over them, but
Everyone that was qualified got an interview because there was not that many.
If there was like 4 or 5, that was it.
Well, you broadened it out a little bit, so
Yeah.
you might have the ability to get 2 more this time.
Yeah.
I think basically for right now, we'll leave it up to the selection committee on how we do things.
Because they're not 20 minutes ago.
So if there's nothing else to come before the board meeting for tonight's special meeting,
How was I the guy?
have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Moving second.
Night, everybody.